Welcome to the Deepak Saini Show.
He said he gon' huff and puff and blow my mind up. You meet the island girl, she might dirty wine up.
Welcome to the Deepak Saini Show. I'd like to thank J23 for our intro music. You can find a link to her music in the show description. My guest today is Billie Aadmi. Billie is the CEO and founder of Go Mindspire Inc., where she trains and coaches people to get into rapport with their unconscious mind using the world's most powerful mind-body tools. Billie guides her clients so that they can tap into the infinite resources that the universe has waiting. She's also a passionate and purpose-driven international real estate investor. We might talk about that, and is dedicated to cultivating a prosperous mindset in others through transformative tools like NLP, timeline therapy, and hypnotherapy. And I just got certified in those as well, everyone. So we might talk about that. And she is also, and here's a really cool, interesting thing, she is transitioning from almost 2 decades of policing into her new mission of up-leveling mindsets for lifelong success. Billie, welcome to the Deepak Saini Show.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Awesome, awesome. So I just teased it that you're in policing, you're just transitioning out, and what you got going on now, real estate investor, all these things, awesome, interesting things going on. But let's take a step back to the beginning. How did you get to maybe into policing to start with?
Well, I know at the core of me, service has always been something that's, I believe, part of my DNA. I know that was brought down here in this lifetime to serve. And I went to school to be a teacher because I loved just teaching and sharing and giving information. Didn't work out. Elementary teaching didn't work out. Policing just seemed like the next natural fit because it was the ultimate job of service. And I really enjoyed it because I did feel like I was giving back, as cliche as that sounds. When people ask me, why did you become a cop? I'll be like, because I wanted to give back to my community. I wanted to give back to the humanity and do my part to help. And it has done that a lot, and it's changed a lot as well since I've been in. So, I just wasn't starting to feel fulfilled as I was when I first started. And then obviously when I became a mother, there's the element of danger that was obviously on my brain as well, that, we go to work every day with the possibility of not coming home. And that was really weighing heavy on me. So I started thinking of, well, what else can I do to serve in a way that I can still help humanity? And that has led me to pretty much where I'm at now.
Okay, before we go transition to where you're at now, there must be, I mean, you can choose either the most hilarious policing story you have, or maybe the most like, oh my God, I can't believe I survived that policing story. You choose whichever one you think the audience will resonate the most with.
I get this a lot. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen or done? And ironically, it was 6 weeks out of the academy that I had my most interesting call that I've ever had. And nothing came close to that since these last 2 decades. And do you want me to share the whole story?
Yeah, you got all the time in the world.
Because it's kind of funny. So I was working in this area, the southwest portion of the city, and it was kind of known as Sleepy Town. Nothing really happened there. And when there was something big, it was something really big. So, I can't even remember what day it was, but it was a morning. We're driving around. I'm with a female partner, and a call comes over the air of an alligator thrashing around in a stairwell. And so my partner and I look at each other and we think, okay, someone's probably high or something. Who knows? Let's just go take the call. So we go and take the call. And lo and behold, Deepak, there was a 5-foot-long caiman alligator. And we're looking at each other like, now what? Now what do we do? We've never trained. We were trained how to catch bad guys. We didn't train to wrestle alligators in the academy. And so we find the owner, and he comes down, and we come up with the plan. He jumps on the head. I jump on the body to hold it down. And my partner tapes the snout, and off it goes in a little bag to go get it. Broke its toe in its jaw or something. The poor thing was looking for a mate. And we went up to this guy's apartment, and, he had every reptile you could think of. And it turned out he was actually a zoology grad student, and he used these animals for his teachings. And this poor little alligator jumped out of the 4th floor of his apartment building. It was in an apartment building, to go look for a mate. So, it was
the power of nature. Hey, the power of nature.
Yeah. And it was interesting because obviously the news was there, because how often do you have an alligator in the city? And, they were, interviewing me. And as I'm, wiping alligator blood off my arms, I'm saying like, yeah, I always knew I'd be wrestling bad guys. I never thought I'd be wrestling an alligator 6 weeks out of the academy. And since then, I don't think I've had anything as interesting as that.
Kind of sounds, that's a bit disappointing that nothing more interesting than that has happened over 20 years afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy. So you kind of teased about it before, and maybe we'll get to the real estate investing later as well. But I also said, I'm a recent grad of these modalities, and you were one of my instructors, and that's how we met to have you on the podcast. But maybe you can tell us a little bit about, what drew you to this line of work or this current line of work, and then maybe high level a little bit about these modalities as well.
Yeah, so I didn't know what I didn't know back then. All I knew was I wasn't happy with policing. It wasn't fulfilling me. And I was putting that out to the universe unknowingly. And the way, now, as you now know, the way it works is when you put things out there, the universe will bring you the resources that you need to go to the next level of your life. And, long story short, I started a health coaching business and I met a hypnotherapist, and I said, can you just come do some mindset work with my people? Because I saw how off they were. And I was like, okay. She gave me a session, and I was like, I couldn't believe how deep she went. I was like, what did you just do? And she's like, oh, I tapped into your unconscious. I'm like, what does that mean? Because I didn't really understand. I knew there was an unconscious or subconscious, like some people call it. I didn't understand the power of it, and that it connected us to the universe where all the resources are. I didn't understand that concept. And so, of course, because it was so powerful, it really got my curiosity going. And now, curiosity is one of the best states you can be in. And I got excited, which is also the second best state you can be in. So I went down this rabbit hole. I found my mentor out east, and the way she was doing these trainings was in 8 days. The one that you just took, in 8 days, you get 4 board designations. It was NLP practitioner, which is neuro-linguistic programming, which I was familiar with because I followed Tony Robbins, and he put NLP on the board. Timeline therapy, which I knew nothing about. Hypnotherapy, which, my idea of hypnotherapy was stage hypnosis, right? Which most people think of as entertainment, which it is entertainment. It's not hypnotherapy. However, now I had a taste of what actually hypnotherapy did and the power of it. And then, of course, the NLP results coach. So because I was already doing this coaching, I liked the idea of having board designations, and I could do it in 8 days. I just needed to take a week off of work. I had to get my kids sorted. It was all online through Zoom. So I was like, wow, I actually think I can do this. And so I went and took the course. And just as you have experienced in your practitioner course, my brain was poof, poof, poof. I couldn't believe how quick and easy this work can shift your brain, basically rewire your brain. And then I got so intrigued, I took my master practitioner level right away. And then I became trainer, because now I know that's why I went to school to be a teacher, to train this stuff, because it comes so easy for me. It's so natural. The way I learned it was really easy. And now I know it's when you're doing what you're meant to do, it is easy. That's not to say there's no effort involved. It's just not hard. And so I put my effort in, and things just started flowing. The resources started coming, and that's why now I'm retiring from policing after 20 years. I wasn't planning to. I had given myself a goal, and the universe said, you know what? She's showing up. She's showing the action. She's showing her commitment. Let's make this happen faster for her. And here I am. My real estate career started taking off because, again, I switched my mindset. I opened it into a growth mindset as opposed to a limited mindset, where in my world, I didn't even consider myself a real estate investor when I had several properties. In my brain, that didn't even clue in. And then when I started realizing, well, you know what, if I don't want to do policing, I still need to pay my bills. Perhaps I start really intentionally doing real estate investing so that can pay the bill, so that I can do this coaching from a place of service. And that's exactly what has happened. And it's been a year, actually, it's my 1-year anniversary of doing this work. And I am retiring this year, or resigning, however you want to say it. Retiring from policing, not retiring from working. And now I don't call this a business, I call this service. The service has just been amazing. The type of people I've been meeting. We work with lots of other coaches because they are already ones out there wanting to help people. And so our goal is how can we reach as many people that are already wanting to help others? And that's why I became a trainer. And now I can designate other coaches to go out and do this work with others as well.
Awesome. Amazing. So what does it mean, or how would you define, people getting out of their own way?
Yeah. So that's the tagline of my company, Mindspire, because I realized that's all it was. It wasn't that you needed some grand up level or some crazy breakthrough. It literally was just moving out of your own way. And that in itself allowed the up level and the breakthrough to happen, because we're always up leveling, and we get stuck to a certain point and we realize these programs. So if you think of like phone apps, if you just keep putting more applications in, it just bogs down the system. So when we're always updating our phone, the first thing you got to do is get rid of the viruses and the bugs, right? That's what the update does. And that's what we use timeline therapy for, is releasing all those negative emotions, those self-limiting beliefs. Because if you put flowers on top of garbage, the garbage is still there. We still have to clear out that garbage in order for that soil to be good enough so those flowers can grow. And so we clear that out, and then we figure out what apps or programs are you running that aren't serving you any longer. Because a lot of these programs are from when we were children, right? They're given to us by our parents, our media, from the school, from society. And then we realize later in life, wait a minute, that's not my program. That was given to me, and I don't actually like that program. I want to change it. So we can figure out what apps are in there, take those out, undo those programs, and put in the new programs that will actually help you move to your next level. And then we use the hypnotherapy for future and goal setting, and to cinch in all those good suggestions that we're putting in. So it's a very cool process. And through all of it, it requires nothing else of anybody else except yourself. So we are born with this blueprint for success when we are come down here, and then all this stuff's put on top. So we just have to help you uncover it, help you get out of your own way, and then you can move forward into where you really want to go.
Yeah, I love the phone app analogy. I think that's so powerful for people to really understand what this these modalities can do. That's an easy way for people to figure it out. Yeah.
And as you've experienced, it's out of your awareness, right? That's why we say, if you can name it, that ain't it. If you can name your problem, that's not the problem. There's always something behind it. And that's what we uncover. And that's why we call ourselves tour guides, and that the unconscious mind is the coach. We just allow it to go where it needs to go in order to up level and basically upload what lessons did I need to learn. Once it's done, it removes it. It creates that space for the new resources to come in.
I think that's a great segue to my next question. How does one tap into their unconscious mind?
Commitment, 100% surrender, and action. Those are the three things that we need in order for us to actually move forward. Because a lot of, again, that's just a program that we put in is, yes, I'm in as long as, as long as the timing is right, as long as the price is right, as long as, it's not going to take up too much of my energy. You have to have time, money, and energy into those things. And as you know now, when we do these breakthroughs that we call them, there has to be that level of commitment before we even start. Because we have to build rapport with our unconscious. And this is kind of how I explain what I do, is we get your conscious and your unconscious mind in rapport with each other, playing for the same team. Because if you're conscious, as you know, your conscious mind is the goal setter, your unconscious mind is the goal getter. So if consciously you're putting the goal out, but unconsciously your self-limiting beliefs are saying, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, it's not going to go and get what it needs to get in order for you to reach your goals. That's why it's called getting out of your own way.
So Billie, can you just for the audience say those three components again? Commitment,
action, and surrender.
Would you say surrender is the hardest for people?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say that too.
What you don't know, right? And there's always that skepticism. Well, it can't be that easy. And you've experienced this. And pretty much every single person that comes through this work, that's that biggest up level, is like, wow, it actually is that easy. And I actually just got, it's over there. I got an easy button because of it, because I kept hearing that was easy. And I literally got a button that said the Staples easy button. That was easy, because people are like, oh, I can't believe it. And that's just another program. If it's that easy, it must not work. And it's not true, which is why we are the only coaching industry that can actually guarantee our results in writing. It's because we're dealing with behavior. We're dealing with neurology here. We're rewiring your brain.
Now, you mentioned rapport, getting your conscious and your unconscious mind in rapport. So how does one build rapport with their higher self?
Well, you have to build rapport with your unconscious first, because your conscious mind is here. Your unconscious mind is here. Your higher self is over here. So your conscious and your higher self don't talk to each other. The only way to access it is through that unconscious mind. And that's what we teach you how to do. We teach you how to access it. We get into those theta brainwaves where you are in trance. And people are like, well, you can't put me in trance. Well, you're actually in trance 90% of the day. Driving trance, TV trance, if you're doing things without even thinking about it, that's actually a trance. You're in that theta brainwave where you're not even thinking about what you're doing, right? Your body is taking care of itself through your unconscious mind. It's funny, I was just having this conversation with my own father, who, of course, people are skeptics, and he doesn't even believe you have an unconscious mind. And I said to him, I was like, well, who runs your body when you're sleeping? He's like, well, the unconscious does. I'm like, so that there is an unconscious, but it was really a cool conversation because again, and I was one of them. I knew there's a, we call it higher self, that little voice, that intuition, that is your higher self coming in and talking to you. And then you speak to it through your unconscious mind and actually give it directions. Like you've heard this enough times through the course that your unconscious mind is like a 2-year-old. It needs very specific instructions. What do I want? I want X, Y, and Z. Now go get it. And if you consciously start sabotaging it by your self-limiting beliefs, it blocks it.
Right. I'm going to share a quick story. This just happened 2 days ago from our time we were recording. I was just going back to trance and how we're in trance all the time. We don't even really realize it. I was, springtime doing the, spring cleanup in the yard. I was raking the pine cones up and I totally got into trance. And I actually came up with a business idea for, I don't know when they're going to be released, but when I actually recorded the last podcast guest that I recorded their episode before yours, I actually came up with a business idea for them while I was raking the pine cones in my yard. So, again, trance, totally in trance, just a repetitive thing, could be dishes, whatever. Like you said, 90% of our day, people don't even realize it.
And that's why we want to teach people that your trance is what you're focusing on. So if we can put you into a solution trance as opposed to a problem trance, where most people are always just thinking about their problems, like that victim island, and get you over to solution city and get you into the solution trance, then life just works way easier and flows for you because you're thinking about the solution as opposed to the problem.
Absolutely. Now, this isn't a health podcast specifically, but I always like to ask my guests, a couple sort of health related questions. What does your morning routine look like? What's a non-negotiable for you?
I do something called magnified healing, and that sets my intentions for the day. I learned it also from my mentor just before I started this work. And that was my first introduction into higher self and how putting out your intention for the beginning of the day is so important for how your day goes. And so that is one of my non-negotiables. I do that every morning. I wake up with gratitude all the time, regardless of whether, you want to wake up at 6:30 in the morning or 5:30 or whatever your time clock says that morning. And then I do my intention setting for the day as well.
Awesome. I love that. If you were to go, sorry, go ahead.
And my lemon water.
Oh, and your lemon water. Yeah. Your recurring theme, lemon water in the morning. So,
Yeah.
or at least water for sure. What do you wish, it could be from a health point of view or not, what do you wish you would have started earlier in life? Or another way to take it, what do you wish you could go back and tell your younger self?
I wouldn't start anything earlier, and because I catch myself saying, man, if I knew this stuff 20 years ago, and I know I wouldn't have been able to become the person I am now if I didn't do my 20 years of policing and did all the things that I needed to go through and all the hardships that I've been through, I wouldn't have been able to do this work. What I would tell myself 20 years ago is keep it up. You're on the right track. There is the resources are coming. Just be open to it and always have a growth mindset. Love
that. Now, you also have a gift for the listeners. Could you describe in your own words, what is this gift?
Yeah, so one of the programs I started with was called Designing Your Destiny, which again, my mentor actually created. She's been in the mystery schools for 35 years and has a degree in neuroscience. So she brings the woo together with the science. And we do 6 secrets, ancient wisdom secrets and 6 gifts. And it's a 2-day workshop And it was so profound, and it was such a great introduction into what we do in our 8-day course, that I actually decided to buy the rights for it and train it myself. So I'm actually a trainer of Designing Your Destiny as well, and a licensed affiliate. So I do this every 2 months or so, because I think it's a really good introduction to people that don't have any idea, kind of like where I started, have no idea, but are interested in learning more about how things work. Of course, my doorbell rings. I don't know if you could hear that. And it gives you really cool tools and techniques to actually experience how quickly your brain can change. So we actually give you some cool techniques. We do a really cool induction at the end of day 1. It's called the Prometheus induction, and it's really cool. It's by Dr. Tad James. And it's a really, really fun weekend to introduce how the whole NLP communication model works, how your unconscious mind works, all this stuff. And it's 2 days. It's all online. And it's August 17 and 18 on Zoom, 9 to 5 Pacific Standard Time. And would love to give one of your listeners 2 free tickets for them.
Okay. So who first one to reach out to you will be, and say they heard it here, they'll get that ticket?
Yeah, just say you're part of the Deepak Saini show. You're listening to it, and I'll send them the promo code and the link to register.
All right, everyone. So the race is on. You need to listen all the way to the end here, or near the end, to take advantage of that. And I will be attending that event, those dates as well. So we'll hope to see you there.
You get a workbook and you get a certificate as well.
Very cool. Very cool. So as we just come to a close here shortly, are there any last words of wisdom, or maybe a golden nugget that you'd like to share with the audience today?
Yeah, listen to that voice. Even if you don't understand it, just listen, because the universe is always giving you little kind of like little morsels of guidance. And the way we explain it is, if you're not on the path that you're meant to be on, the universe will give you just a little flicker of sand. Most people just like, oof, what was that? And they ignore it. And then it'll be a little pebble, and then, a rock, and then a stone, and then the boulder. And then some of us wait till the house of Wizard of Oz falls on us and someone tries to steal our shiny shoes. Don't wait till it gets there, is my advice. If there is something in your life that is not where you want it to be, explore it and figure out why, and then find a coach or a mentor that can help you figure out how to get there. Because you don't know what you don't know. And I love this analogy of, if you're in a jar and the lid is on, and the way to get out of it, the instructions are on the label on the outside. Sometimes you don't know how to do that. And if you can just have somebody there be like, hey, I see what's happening. I can help you get out here. We're still going to let you do the work, except I can show you the map. Right? It's like the whole Victim Island to Solution City. If you already know someone that's where you've been and can get you to where you want to go, ask them for the map. Don't just go off into the horizon and try to figure it out. Right? We call that vicious independence. And I used to do that all the time.
Me too.
Right? And then it just makes it harder. So find someone that's doing what you want to do, is living the life that you want, and go on, ask them for help. Reach out to you. You have all these tools and techniques, I think this is a foundation for every single person in the world, to have these tools and techniques to actually learn how to take control of your own life, control the thoughts in your mind. Because it's been said before, if you can control your thoughts, you can control your life, and you really can. And it is not hard. It is that easy.
Awesome. I love it. And I should have mentioned before, we're going to have all of Billie's links to her social media and her website. If you want to work with her, reach out to her, take her up on her gift. Absolutely, all the socials, and I'm sure she'd be happy to connect with all of you.
And I'd like to plug in the next practitioner course, the one that
absolutely, go right ahead.
Is in September. We have a few seats left for that one, and then we're opening up November as well. We like to keep our classes small so that, as Deepak, you've experienced, you get a lot of hands-on experiential work, and it's very highly supervised so that you are getting the techniques personally, and then you get to actually practice them as a practitioner as well. And so that's September 21st to 28th is the next one, and the one after that is in November. So if anybody's interested, reach out. We do payment plans. This is, we really just want to get these tools and techniques out there to the people, so that they can really up-level their lives and raise humanity, raise consciousness.
And absolutely, I thank you for bringing that up, and I can't recommend it enough. Obviously, I went through it myself, and I'm still just starting to incorporate that into my own business with my own clients. These new tools. So, even if you're not a coach or something like that, and you're just the average No one's average, everyone's exceptional, but if you're not in that space, but you do want to up level yourself, and like Billy said, how you think and how you process information, definitely worth checking out. So again,
And
I'll
even
have all the links in the show notes.
it's great as a parent. It's made me a better parent too.
Amazing. That's awesome. So there you go, everyone. My throat's getting a little dry. I'm gonna have a sip of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have all the links. Again, appreciate you being on the show today. It was fantastic having you. And also, don't forget everyone to check out today's show sponsor. And I'm going to throw it back to J23, who's going to guide us out with some music. And again, thank you for listening to the Deepak Saini Show. Exceptional results for the exceptional you. Till next time. This episode is brought to you by Optimizers and their herbal parasite guardian product. Now, I don't take this too often, but if I'm going to Mexico or some other, Caribbean nation or someplace like that where, the food's maybe a little iffy, I will take this along with me and pop a couple of these after I have maybe a questionable meal, maybe from a food cart or something like that. So again, it's just something nice to have in the arsenal. So again, you can check out the link here and get 10% off this product or many of the other products that Optimizers has. I love their magnesium. I love their digestive enzymes and so on. So check it out. The link here for 10% off or more. Cheers.
Podcast produced by the Minted Green Company